Robert Patillo, civil rights attorney based in Atlanta. Ralph Godbee, former Detroit police chief, with us now. Gentlemen, good to see you. Chief, start with you. What Brian said right there really struck me. They're giving the guns to the 12 and 13-year-olds. These are not guns that are being bought legally in a gun store that happen to be assault rifles that any proposed gun control I've heard of would stop.
You know, Leland, it's amazing how things repeat themselves in cycles. In the early 80s, there was a group in Detroit called Young Boys Incorporated. And the crux of their criminal enterprise was getting juveniles to move their drugs for the very same reason your reporter just talked about, them holding the weapons. And then what exacerbates it is the fact that these kids have access to so much information through Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and then not to mention the cultural differences that they're exposed to at very young ages. It's ripe for a crime wave of young people. And then you put on top of that the difficulty adults had mentally with the pandemic and being locked in. You can magnify that times 10 for young people. I was chief of police over Detroit Public Schools when the pandemic started in March of 2020, where we started to shut things down, and we saw a precipitous uprise in disturbances with young people because they lost structured opportunities. They were not mentally prepared to handle what at one time would seem unfathomable. So it's a very difficult problem.
Yeah, very difficult. The first thing you have to do if you want to deal with a difficult problem is deal with it honestly.
Yes.
That involves talking about the problem honestly. And to you, Robert, 2,590 kids who were shot and killed in 2021. A hugely disproportional part of that is black and brown kids. Yet it's not discussed on the media. It is not front page news when it happens. And the laws, as the chief just talked about, or the social services that would help prevent these things aren't talked about, and there's no marches on state capitals for it. Why not?
Well, actually, there are marches on state capitals for it. You'll see Father Flagler in Chicago often do marches on gun violence. You'll see civil rights groups around the country do marches and protest and go to state legislatures about gun violence in black communities. The difference is it's not sexy to the press. I've seen actually a mass shooting be reported, and then when they find out it's just black people shooting each other, all the press conferences go away. I've actually seen the news vans wrap up and drive off when they found out that, oh, just black people killing each other on the weekend. Nothing to worry about here. It's part of the disease that exists in this country with the devaluation of black and brown lives. That's the slogan, Black Lives Matter. It wasn't just about police shootings. It's about a holistic change to the way that we do criminal justice in this country. And as you said, we talk so much about getting rid of quote-unquote assault rifles. I got a stack of AR-15s next to me right now. They've never hopped up and killed anybody. The problem in this country is handguns. The problem in this country is mental health. The problem in this country is young people who have been abandoned without a social system that is meant to actually help protect them. And because it's not sexy to talk about it and doesn't get clicks and doesn't get views online, it, in the large part, is forgotten. And until we can change that around, we're going to continue to see these numbers of an entire generation being lost to gun violence.
What we're watching right now is some video out of San Antonio. I think, gentlemen, you and I actually both talked about this video when it happened. A young man who was in a chase with police, 13 years old, I believe, who was then shot and killed by police when he drove at them. Chief, if the answer is not more laws, right, if we can enforce the laws we have, at what point do we have to start holding the parents accountable for not dealing with their 12 and 13-year-olds?
Well, Leland, it's not an either or, it's a both and. You may recall Jason Crumbley, his parents, the Oxford shooting, they bought this kid a gun for his birthday, and he was obviously having some mental health issues. The prosecutor in Oakland County in Michigan, Prosecutor McDonald, charged both parents. And so far, those charges are making its way through the criminal justice system. So there is a combination of not only mental health help, social service supports, but some reasonable laws that make responsible gun ownership incentivized by the fact that you'll go to jail if you don't secure your weapons.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.